This video is brought to you by this fan. It's hot. From now to however long our air conditioner is broke, my co-host is going to be this fan. It's hot. God, is blazing hot right now. Is this what madness feels like? Unrelenting heat. God, I swear to God, I can't wait for autumn, man. I can't do this no more. I can't do this hot girl summer no more. So yes, if you are distracted by the fan, I'm sorry. Hello, my name is Kaylin and welcome to my channel where we are going to be breaking down, discussing, and recommending films and TV shows and occasionally other forms of media. And this segment is called Cinema Playlist, where I recommend movies and TV shows based on a theme. The last time I did a cinema playlist, it was for the zodiac sign Scorpio. And this time we have a theme called Beauty is Terror. Beauty is Terror is inspired by the famous line in the book The Secret History by Donna Tartt, one of my favorite books. The Secret History is like the gateway drug into the popular dark academia aesthetic. Beauty is terror. What does that even mean? Context is that in the book The Secret History, no spoilers for anyone interested in the book. I swear, it's great. Give it a read. The main characters are college students who are in their classical Greek class, and they talk about the philosophy of beauty. Basically, they kind of come to the conclusion that genuine beauty is not always like a magical sunset or the Venus de Milo statue. It can be unsettling and doesn't have to be comforting or, in short, sublime. An aesthetic so great and intense that it is overwhelming to explain or process. And when beauty is not paired with something more meaningful, then it's shallow. I choose this line to make an entire playlist because, number one, to be cute. Number two, I love the book and dark academia aesthetic. And I thought it would be an interesting mix of movies that focus on the darker side of beauty. As a society, we do place a lot of importance in appearances, packaged in idealistic, overly sexualized boxes to create insecurities and sell products. There's the halo effect, where people find attractive people more capable, reliable, and inherently good. Beautiful people can use the halo effect to their advantage to get whatever they want, for better or for worse. But then there's also jealousy of beautiful people that can cause irrational behavior like constant harassment, or beauty is in the eye of the beholder. What one finds attractive, someone else might not. Different strokes for different folks. There's the extreme pressure to abide by the standard of beauty, which is Eurocentric, fatphobic, ableist, and ageist. And this playlist explores the many dark facets of beauty. It can be someone using it for evil, or something poetic like using beauty as a mask to cover up something horrifying, slowly morphing into terror. How it can be a curse to some or a dark pursuit, and the pain of maintaining it, or gross shallowness. I'll give honorable mentions that qualify, but I will probably put them in different videos and don't want to repeat, or they have the elements of the theme, but they're not that great. So watch at your own risk. And they are Gone Girl, Basic Instinct, The Picture of Dorian Gray, Under the Skin, Snow White, and The Love Witch. Let's get into the first movie, Gia, made in 1998 and directed by Michael Christopher, starring Angelina Jolie as she plays the real-life top model Gia Kararangi. A tough, eccentric, yet sensitive young woman moves to New York City to model and becomes very popular in the late 1970s and early 1980s. But the modeling lifestyle tears her apart with heavy circulation of drugs and alcohol and causes her to spiral until her death caused by HIV. This is Angelina Jolie's best performance, right underneath Girl Interrupted. She's charismatic, alluring, mischievous, yet sensitive and vulnerable and volatile. And when she spirals out of control, it hurts because you do care about her as a person. She does throughout everything has a good heart. The writing doesn't gloss over her faults and her addiction. It doesn't shy away from her reliance on drugs to fill in her isolation and need for connection, and how it affects her relationships. And it doesn't completely glamorizes the modeling industry. It's harsh, it's easy to fall into the wrong crowd and pick up on harmful habits. It can lift you high above one season, then completely spit you out the next and move on to the next pretty face. It calls out how the system of modeling does nothing but craft beauty, but it can be completely shallow. A fast-paced machine that moves on whether or not you're ready. It's seductive, it gives a false sense of security and bring out the ugliness from jealousy, insecurity, isolation, peer pressure, and addiction. It's tragic that the entire process completely screwed over Gia. I mean, sure, you could make the argument that she could have made better choices, but everyone is built differently. Addiction is a disease that can destroy the best of us. You see that she's also addicted to her own beauty. And not in a narcissistic way like, oh, because I'm beautiful, I'm better than everyone. But how it grants her everything she craves, such as approval, love, attention, admiration from others, especially her mother, both biological and symbolic, her lovers, and the public at large. She wants love so badly because it wasn't always given in the way that she wanted. The production and style is pretty 90s TV movie, but the performances and the writing is so good it elevates everything. Angelina Jolie eats the screen up like it's nothing. Like, girl! And I have no other option but to stan Angelina Jolie, man. She is the GOAT. She is the GOAT. She is beautiful even today, bro. Like, she's just chilling, taking care of her kids, being a philanthropist, beekeeping, and she was like, yep, girls, ooh, that woman's too much. Oh, she is too much, honey. The Neon Demon, made in 2016, directed by Nicholas Winding Refn. It's the second of 3 movies on here where the backdrop is modeling, because honestly, the concept of the modeling business has lots of room for horror and aesthetics, things I live for. The film is a horror thriller starring Elle Fanning, who plays Jessie, a young woman who moves to Los Angeles with her photographer lover to become a model. She immediately starts getting attention, sparking envy and animosity from 2 other models and lust from a makeup artist in the field. It's a love it or hate it type of movie. It's very stylized from the aesthetic, acting, and editing. Has many abstract moments, especially the ending, which I will not spoil, but it goes off the deep end. The ending definitely can be a deal breaker for some people, but I live for it. The entire point of the movie, with its dreamlike, overly stylized cinematography, is to dissect the entire concept of beauty. I think the movie argues that it is shallow, brings nothing but pain, indulgent, and is inherently narcissistic. That beauty can't fix eternal problems and it won't make you any more interesting or better than anyone else. But beauty does grant a lot of privileges. Jessie can do a lot of the things that she does because she's beautiful. If she was below average, she wouldn't have made it out of her hometown and have potential to be a top model. Again, that's just my reading of the film. It's vague enough for people to draw their own conclusions. I love every moment of this film. It waters my plants. It gives me hope, even though terrible stuff happens in it. If you do watch this and haven't seen it at all, know that yes, it's a weird art house movie, and think of it in terms of a fairy tale. I believe, don't quote me on this, that the director intended for the film to be like a modern fable, and in fables, everything does not always have to be logical, it's symbolic for a larger theme. There are elements of the Greek myth Narcissus, a guy who was feeling himself too much that he fell in love with his own reflection. The story parallels Jessie's as she becomes more arrogant and confident in herself because everywhere she goes, she is praised and valued for her looks. And ultimately, her and two other models who are competition are punished for their fanatical pursuit of being the most beautiful. Next up is The Obscure Object of Desire, made in 1977, directed by Louis Buñuel. A wealthy middle-aged man named Matthew falls madly in love with a beautiful young woman played by two actresses who alternates in every scene cause symbolism, named Conchita. Matthew does all he can to possess Conchita, mostly through money. But Conchita always puts herself at arm's length, teasing the possibility of sleeping with him, but never delivers. And them going back and forth from love, well, really it's lust, to hate. It's a very messed up movie, but what do you expect? It is Louis Buñuel. His filmography mostly deals with the taboo. It's supposed to be erotic. There are some nudie parts and lots of teasing. And lots of simping, but it's not like 365 days. No. And if you don't watch older international films, then it might be too dry because it is dialogue heavy. There's also the main protagonist, Matthew, that raises a lot of questions throughout the movie. At first, you feel bad for him, but when you think about it, he's kind of an idiot and entitled over Conchita, but Conchita is definitely not faultless. She is a very flawed person, and it's very hard to pin her down and kind of despicable herself. She's a very beautiful, alluring woman, and I feel she uses her attractiveness as a mask to get what she wants, which is financial freedom, but without any labor or responsibility. And she goes back and forth from a cold seductress to a whimsical damsel. And the more you follow them, you realize the power imbalance, the entitlement, and the shallowness from both sides. But specifically from Matthew, who constantly keeps chasing this woman who's obviously not committed to the idea of being committed or that much of a good person, but because she's beautiful, he'll put up with just about anything. And that's sad and pretty messed up. Next we have Jawbreaker, made in 1999, directed by Darren Stein. A prank gone wrong, committed by three popular girls, leaves their friend dead. They cover it up and are forced to take in a unpopular girl named Firm Mayo after she witnesses them tampering with the evidence. If you love Heathers, Mean Girls, and 90s aesthetic, then this is your ish right here. It's a great dark comedy with twists and turns and great performances, especially by Queen Rose McGowan. She carried this entire movie on her shoulders as the mean Queen Bee Courtney. And again, I love the darkness covered up with bubblegum pop aesthetic. The main characters are attractive girls at first glance. You'd think the most violent thing they would do is call someone mean names, but these girls are savage AF. They'll turn on you in seconds, dig under the skin until you break, commit crimes because they can be ruthless and shallow. They are so hell-bent on maintaining their power structure, creating these perfect, sugary sweet images of themselves that they will do gruesome, petty, and ridiculous actions like murder, bullying, and even not eating in public. This is a savage, fun, over-the-top film and goes down in history as one of the best high school dark comedies, and Rose McGowan is the Queen Bee. Late 90s, early 2000s aesthetic, the good kind. Just give it a watch. You will have fun, I swear. Next, we have Black Swan, made in 2010, directed by Darren Aronofsky, starring Natalie Portman as Nina, a professional ballerina obsessively fighting her way to play the starring role as the Swan Queen in a ballet company. But her obsession turns into madness as she feels that her position is threatened by a new dancer, Odile. There's nothing that screams beauty, dainty, and graceful as ballet, but underneath it is a highly competitive to the point of being toxic and can't escape sleazeballs like cockroaches. They are everywhere. Nina is what you think a ballerina would be. Pretty, innocent, and ultra feminine, but underneath her meekness and pretty princess aesthetic, there's something much darker. She's petty, judgmental, so focused on being perfect that she avoids making connections with others and commits many forms of self-harm. When she meets Odile, you see that she's also very jealous and her competitiveness is notched up to 15. But through her frenemy relationship, she starts to grow a backbone and starts to leave her previous childlike self behind and goes through a gruesome metamorphosis into the Black Swan. Sexually awakened, powerful, alluring creature. Ballet is considered the most beautiful and refined art that requires a lot of physical skill. The film delves into using art to portray beauty and how painstaking it must be, how it depends on perfection. Some say that perfection can be measured like any other science or math. Ew. Don't bring that trash into my heavenly domain. But it's not real, though it doesn't stop some from trying to achieve it, and no matter what you do, it will take a toll somewhere down the line. And it becomes apparent when you see Nina sticking to a strict diet, going through painful physical therapy, and practices until she breaks her toenails. Ooh, no, thank God I'm fat. Woo, that's too much, child. That's too much. All for something that doesn't exist. This is my second favorite Aronofsky film, and most people already seen the movie because it's great. The performances are great, especially by Natalie Portman, but she's always great. It's a movie that gets under your skin with creepy body horror. And if you've seen the movie, you know the one that makes you protect your fingers, and how the movie is edited to make you feel nothing but anxiety from jump. The symbolism is a little ham-fisted and obvious, but it does the job of cohesively showing us character progression. Ooh, this one. Audition, made in 1999, directed by Takashi Miike. A widower, Aoyama, is going back into the dating scene. His filmmaker friend stages a fake movie audition for young women as a sly and sleazy way to get women for Aoyama. He falls for one of the women, Asami, a reserved, meek, and secretly insane. Asami makes Amy Dunn look like Carol Brady. I kid you not. Women-hating men, watch this movie and consider yourself lucky that there is not an army of Asamis lurking around. If you think regular women are crazy, watch this and be thankful. Asami looks and seems like the textbook definition of dainty, stereotypical femininity. Soft-spoken, modest, beautiful, delicate. You thought, and you thought wrong. She's a predator in sheepskin. She's cold and detached from feeling any type of empathy for anyone, which is a reason why she's able to do horrific torture. If you are super sensitive to gore, then you might want to give this a skip because it's hardcore, brutal, violent, and creepy. It is another case of using the guise of beauty to do the absolute worst and get away with it. Because who would suspect such a beautiful person to do such a thing? I don't know. Ask any serial killer and their plethora of simps. Jennifer's Body, created in 2009, directed by Karen Kusama. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Karen? Or Karen? I think it's Karen. A horror comedy about two high school best friends. A bombshell named Jennifer, played fantastically by Megan Fox, and the average girl next door, Needy, played by Amanda Seyfried. Their friendship gets rocky when Jennifer gains supernatural abilities that involve eating men, who, to be fair, a lot of the times they aren't that great. The film is criminally underrated and got the worst flack for absolutely no reason. The dialogue is funny and punchy. The relationship between Needy and Jennifer is very complex, and the actresses have good chemistry with each other. It is a great horror twist on the high school dark comedies like Jawbreakers and Heathers. Megan Fox proved herself in this role. Her comedic timing and charisma as the demoness was chef kiss. Her performance in the writing of Jennifer has a lot of layers to it. Megan Fox and Jennifer have a lot in common, which is great casting. In the movie, everyone puts Jennifer in this box as the hot girl, just like Megan Fox in real life. And I know many people would not feel sorry for her because of the thinking, she's beautiful, everyone desires her, she has no reason to complain. But when you think about it, it's a very limiting box. All people see in Jennifer is a hot girl, and they treat her just like that. A tool to up their social standing, a sex object, a means to an end. And in that circumstance, it would be very hard to connect with anyone. Everyone is placing an expectation and judgment onto you that you did not ask for without even a civil conversation. You do see that in Jennifer, everyone except Needy approaches her wanting something because she's beautiful. And Jennifer knows that the only reason why people, mostly men, want from her is her beauty. And I think her becoming a flesh-eating demon that targets mostly men is symbolic of a young woman lashing out against and getting revenge on this patriarchal system that boxes her in to be used and got her killed in the first place. The film is a reminder that pretty people don't always have it all. Jennifer is admired by everyone, but you hardly see her with anyone else besides Needy. At first, I thought the relationship between Jennifer and Needy was like a Duff situation, but going back and rethinking, I think it's more complex. Needy is the only person to see Jennifer as she is, flaws and all, and still wants to be her friend and love her genuinely. But Jennifer is jaded and blinded by rage. She loses sight of how much Needy cares about her. And before Jennifer becomes a demon, I think she does love Needy also, but doesn't know how to properly love someone because her environment taught her to do nothing but take and give less. From most likely parenting and bad romantic relationships. Let me take off my fake therapist hat. I'm happy people are going back and revisiting Jennifer's body and giving it the credit it deserves. The backlash against it when it came out was unprecedented, and the treatment Megan Fox endured during the time it came out and also all the time she has been in Hollywood is and still is disgusting. She's unfairly ostracized for no reason. And I admit, years ago, I did not like Megan Fox. I too thought she was just a hot girl and nothing else. And all the things that I saw her in outside of Jennifer's body was not great, especially Transformers, which was a childhood staple of mine. But as I grew older and started analyzing media and figuring out their tricks on how they frame these celebrities to fit a narrative that's not always flattering and not based in rationality or even facts. It's just selling lies, and these celebrities take a lot of hits over it that can threaten their livelihood and their character. Look at Britney Spears, a great example of how evil the media can be. Meghan Markle, Megan Thee Stallion, Lizzo, Ariana Grande, Angelina Jolie, and so many others. The media especially goes harder on female celebrities than male. Female celebrities can get chewed out and humiliated over small stuff, while male celebrities can be the absolute worst person on earth and still get by unscathed. And the more beautiful the female celebrity, and depending on how they present themselves, they too can be pushed to the side from even other women and not taken seriously, even if they talk about something serious. Like Megan Fox has said that she felt left out of feminism and the Me Too movement, even though she was groomed while in her teens by Michael Bay, and God knows what else she had to go through while Weinstein and other cretins running rampant in Hollywood. The media does a great job pitting women against each other by feeding into insecurities. Like this woman who's beautiful and has the things you wish you had. She did something bad like wear flip-flops outside. Or she can't be a feminist because she did something male-gazy, even though homegirl is just trying to eat and got bills to pay just like everyone else. We got to do better. And next we have Blood and Black Lace, made in 1964, directed by Mario Bava. Blood and Black Lace is a horror mystery about a masked serial killer stalking and murdering models that work in a fashion salon. I have a few things to say. Give me gothic, give me neon, give me fashion, work. That intro is sexy. Yes. Fashion, aesthetics, give it to me. Give it to me. I want a fitted coat and walk into a nice coffee shop with red lipstick with lip gloss. Yes, I want to go to a fancy evening party. Looks galore, makeup, set design. Yes, Lord. Oof. It's stylish and a great intro into Italian horror giallo movies. There's suspense and a lot of gruesome violence. Some criticism is that there's no character that you follow and care about. There is not much time to get to know characters before they are murdered, or if they live, you're not really too invested into them. And the twist on who did it is not all that surprising and a little convoluted and typical. But it's a fun movie to have iced coffee and create something to. You know, paint, sculpture, pottery, whatever. It's just a nice movie to be artsy to. It's easy to vibe with because of the aesthetics. That's it. That's all I got for that one, bruh. It's just watch it. It's, oh God, man. If you are a fashion lover or a lover of aesthetics and you love horror and also classic horror, that one, man, that one, get onto it, bruh. Man, I don't know why this movie has been slept on for eons, but not today, not today. Next, we have To Die For, made in 1995, directed by Gus Van Sant, starring Nicole Kidman in this black comedy about an aspiring news anchor named Suzanne Stone. She feels her career is not going as far as she wants and blames it on her husband, as one does. Like a rational adult, she decides to have him killed because divorce is not enough. Nicole Kidman, girl, not saying anymore because you already know the good sis once again came in, did her thing, and walked off. Flawless victory. All the other performances were great also, especially from Joaquin Phoenix and Matt Dillon. Another example of complete absolute terror and a grotesque heart wearing a beautiful mask to trick and wreak havoc onto the world. I low-key vibe with it. It's a messed up funny movie if you're into that. It's well paced with so many twists and turns as you follow this despicable character Suzanne plots and scheme her way out of a situation that could have been solved with a simple divorce, but okay. Even though Suzanne is a horrible person, you enjoy watching her be a terrible human, and she's very scary at how fast and convincing she switches her many masks. One moment she's confident, headstrong, businesswoman. One moment she's a high school mean girl, and the next, a damsel in distress. The character is such a great chameleon, and Nicole Kidman, man, she is a special kind of talent. I don't have much to say on this movie except go watch it. You won't be disappointed. It's in the same vein as Fargo and Gone Girl. Well, and that is it for movies. Now we are going into TV shows. I only have one for this, and it's Assassination of Gianni Versace. The show is part of the anthology show American Crime Story, with the first season being about the O.J. Simpson trial, and boy, that one was a lot. And the second season is about the tragic assassination of famous and revered fashion designer Gianni Versace by Andrew Cunanan, who's a whole lot of something else. Andrew is on an entirely different spectrum. The show mostly focuses on Andrew Cunanan, and the series shows his life that leads up to him not only assassinating Versace, but other people as well. We don't have a lot of examples of beauty as terror with a guy, so here's one so far that's actually good. The show's direction is spectacular. The first few minutes in the beginning of the episode is one of the finest of television. Very disturbing as we dive deep into Andrew's backstory. And I like how the show wasn't afraid to humanize someone like Andrew, not excuse his actions at all, but go into how someone like Andrew can exist. I found Andrew very unsettling to watch. Throughout the show, Andrew gives me the chills. Gave me a whole range of emotions from anxiety to secondhand cringe. But also, you kind of felt bad for him, and it's tragic that if only Andrew put his efforts into something meaningful, the guy could have had something great, maybe greater than some of the people he murdered. But narcissism and his starvation for attention was his downfall. And speaking of greatness, I love the theme of achieving greatness and talent and how these characters achieve it or didn't achieve it, and sets Andrew apart from everyone else. Everyone else, like Versace, got to where they were because of hard work and practice and dedication, things that Andrew does not want to do, who was raised by a trash father, that everything should be handed to him. And achieving something beautiful doesn't mean you yourself being physically beautiful, but making something beautiful. And that is what Versace did, and his zest for life and love was extremely admirable, and his impact is still felt to this day. While Andrew will always be infamous and hated, something he probably didn't want. I don't know. That man was on a whole different level. Darren Criss ate that screen up with his performance. He absolutely deserved his Golden Globe Award, hands down. No questions asked. Every single episode was captivating. It's a highly tragic yet disturbing show. I binged the entire season in one day. It was so good. And I think about that show a lot. It's chef kiss. I might just rewatch the entire show again. Well, that was my recommendations for movies about beauty is terror. If you have other recommendations, then please comment down below. If you want more videos like this, then please hit subscribe, hit the bell for notification for more videos. This was so much fun. I was seething at the mouth to do this video because I live for the aesthetic every single day, every waking moment, 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days a year plus a leap year. I do nothing but live the aesthetic life. I'm going to admire art with a large cup of iced coffee, then soak in a bath full of red roses cause aesthetic. See you later.